I'm Bea.
And I'm Sam.
And we're two best friends who like to talk shit about smut, wingspan,
and sometimes books.
Join us every Wednesday for a new episode. I thought the point of the Smutterflies is that we were replacing your We Are Live.
I can still do We Are Live. The Smutterflies is like, welcome back, Smutterflies.
Oh, I thought...
Sounds really American.
Yeah, I mean, will you put an American accent?
I don't know why.
Go on then, you do it.
No, it's okay.
I want to know if people like it.
Probably not. People probably skip the first 20 seconds.
Not this one again.
Sam's off trying to make a career. No, it's okay.
No, go on. I want to hear it. It's been so long. It's been like, how long? My brain is mashed bananas.
I don't know, sometime in January, was it?
Was it that long?
No, February.
Yeah. I don't know, because we did loads of online recordings. So it might actually, this actually might have been. Go on, give us one. One for old time's sake.
We are live.
Oh,
what was our season 2 jingle?
Well, that. But...
yeah, I'm just gonna keep it. It's mine, and I'm keeping it forever.
Okay, good. First of all, we've had a vote on the name for you guys.
Yes,
it was voted for in our Discord. So if you don't like the name, we'll join the Discord.
Yeah, if you're not on the Discord and you don't like the name, then tough
tits. But the vote, and we don't. This is so bad. We don't remember who put this name forward.
It came anonymously, I think, on like a comment on one of the podcast apps, because I don't have any
like name to it.
No,
but somebody recommended Smutterflies,
like butterflies,
but smutty. But also that still references wings and wingspan. So yeah, I mean, we loved it. There were loads of really good ones.
Yeah, there were
many good ones. But Smutterflies seemed to be the resounding favourite.
Yeah.
So hello, our little Smutterflies.
Welcome back, Smutterflies.
Season 2.
Oh gosh, we've got a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, this is going to be I mean, we expected the Throne of Glass run to be them to be like pretty substantial.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a lot of catching up to do, guys.
Woo. Where do we start? Really exciting news, I suppose, hot off the press, because we've only just had it. We are now a part of LJ Andrews' street team.
Yeah, that was a gag shock.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that.
So moving forward, we're going to receive arcs. We're going to receive the dates of releases of things. We're going to receive graphics that we can share with our followers. So obviously make sure you're following us on TikTok and Instagram for your updates on LJ.
Yeah, because I think like being a part of street team is a big commitment.
It is.
And it's not the way like, well, maybe we are hesitant to do it because it like we want to do the author justice.
Oh my God, absolutely.
But when LJ opened up her spots, it was like, well, that's a perfect like combination, because we love LJ, you guys love LJ. Like, I don't think we can say this now, and I think we've mentioned it before, but like, she's coming back on the podcast for season 2. So for Broken Souls and Bones.
Yeah, so she very kindly gave us the arc for Broken. I still need to do it.
Me too.
Literally just like life.
But we've got time, right?
Oh my God, yeah, we've got loads of time. So yeah, we've got the arc ready for that, and then LJ's going to come on the podcast to talk about that new series and the a process of bringing a new character to life and everything that went into it, which is really exciting.
Yeah, so when spaces became available, we thought like it would just be a perfect match, because we love LJ, you love LJ. How can we get you LJ news like in advance, being a part of a street team? Yeah,
and she only opened 20 spots, so I think as like a part of us as well maybe thought like, oh, we might not get it because she's got a lot of fans. Her Facebook group, if you're a part of it, is huge, and that's where they announced that they were doing the street team. So if you're on her Facebook group, then you know how many people are in there. So I think another part of it was like we kind of thought we wouldn't get accepted.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, it's only going to be 20 people. Yeah, let's just apply.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're a part of LJ Andrews' Wicked Darlings.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
With smutty little Smutterflies who are part of the Wicked Darlings. I love it. Yeah, so that's so fucking exciting. I'm so buzzed to have her back on. Like, she's such a huge fucking inspiration. Well, for me, yeah, literally, like, oh, I just am so obsessed with her.
Yeah. And she's so nice. Like, she's so down to earth.
Yeah, she's so
When
nice.
we spoke to her, like, she's so cool.
Yeah, she is. She's so fucking cool. That's number 1 off the list. What's number 2?
Number 2 is B has finished her book.
Oh, yeah. I can't, do you know what? There was such a small part of me that, like, when we finished recording on whatever, and we said, like, the next time we sit down, you would have, and I was like, but what if I fucking don't do it? And I was delayed by, like, a week. Like, is what it is. You
Life
know,
happens.
laptop broke, I had fucking glandular fever and norovirus and every fucking thing you can think of. Like, it was
his
so...
body shut down.
Literally. And then it shut down after I finished, because, like, I literally got the worst, like, throat infection ever. But, I say it's done. It's definitely not done, but, like, the big, like, part is done, and it's with the editor, and Sam's read it, and... yeah, I've had some beta feedback already, and that's crazy.
It was amazing. And like, I know we haven't spoken about this in person. I haven't seen you since I've read it, but like, just so that you can see like how genuine I am.
Why did you make me cry?
It was amazing. Not that I thought it wasn't going to be. Like, I never thought B is going to put out a pile of shit. Like, I always knew it was going to be good, but like, you far surpassed my expectations of what I was going to read. And yeah.
I was so nervous.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Because... you know, you get to the point where you're like rewriting bits so much that you're like, I just need to like...
Well, I think as well, because you've obviously read and read and read it, like you're probably sick of it.
I'm
like,
so sick of
you're
it.
Probably like, this is the most repetitive story ever because it's repetitive to you.
Yeah.
But oh no, I ate it up. Steve was like, oh, you're going to sit down with B's book. I was like, yeah, it'll probably take me a couple of days. And then he went up on the Xbox and whatever. He came downstairs. He was like, how's it going? I was like, I've read 40%. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, maybe not a couple of days then. And then literally I started it one evening and I finished it the next evening.
In 24 hours, basically. Yeah. It's like, I think when you've been writing something for so long and no one's read it, and then when you finally do it and you start to get feedback, it like, all I've wanted to do since you've been talking about it and my other beta reader Rachel has spoken to me is like, I just want to write book 2 now. Do you know what I mean? Which is lovely, but
it's giving you the buzz, isn't it? And it sort of like, not justifies you, but like,
it like motivates you.
Yeah, like gives you the confidence. Like, shit, people like it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do more. Like, I'm gonna get like, and I'm just the spice is spicing.
Those, because that was honestly the thing I was most nervous about writing was the spice. It came right because I didn't write this chronologically because it got to the point where I like just couldn't. So the spice was literally 2 of the last chapters I wrote because I knew there would be 2 chapters. Like, this isn't a spoiler, and I knew when they would happen, but I was just too scared to like do it.
No, I think I'd be the same. Not that I'm a writer, but you know, if like, I don't know, if somebody said to me like, I'm really into dirty talk, I'd be like a giggling little bumbling mess. I'd be like, oh, mud.
I think that's why I had to just like do it in one sit and then leave it. Like, to be fair, I wrote it, I quickly scanned it and I was like, it'll do. Like, not it'll do, but like,
like I
done.
can't.
Because if I like, I'll stew on this and I'll delete the whole thing and there'll be no spice in it, and that isn't what I want. Like, I want to write a book I want to read. So yeah, it's been exciting. And
so what happens now? Like, how long does it go with the editor for?
Roughly about 8 weeks, give or take.
And then you re-edit it? Like, if there's things that they're like, you need to change?
Yeah, so they'll come back and all of it's suggestions, right? Like, you know, but obviously I'm not going to like not take their suggestions.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah, like, no, you're professional, but no thanks. Like, and obviously even now, like, where I've been spiraling at night and the comments that you've had and Rachel has had, and I've got one other and Liv is beta reading.
Oh, okay.
So
has she started it?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, she'd read like 6 chapters from ages ago, but they've changed so much now. Like, they'll be so different.
Yeah.
But yeah, like although like obviously it's amazing you and Rachel have read it, I was just like, do you know what? I think one more person It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
be good. So I've got Liv's comments to come back. Is that it?
So technically, the version that you release on the 31st of October could be different to the version I read.
Oh yeah.
So I'd have to reread it when it releases.
Yeah. It'd be very. And I wouldn't say very different. Like I don't know the comments Charlie's going to make. I'd like to think there'd be nothing major that they would want to change.
Yeah.
So I've got some notes that I know I want to update. So they'll come back with comments. Then like we go back and forth. Usually like 2 to 3 times. So like I'll do a ton of updates, give it back. Obviously, Charlie's review after the first one won't be as long, if you know what I mean. It won't take 9 weeks. They'll only review,
like, it'll be like track changes almost.
And they won't need to reread the whole thing as detailed. So we'll roughly go back like 2 to 3 times. And then I know that they're sort of like booked up over summer, which is when the main bulk of my edits will be. And then we'll go into copy in line like end of summer, September. Because then it needs to be ready really like a month in advance for ARC. So yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Katie texted me the other day and she was like, if you've already read Bee's book, why is it not coming out until October? And I was like, hun, the amount of work that goes in the back end. I was like, even I didn't realise how much like editing and copy editing and things like that go into it. Like before it's released, I was like, I thought that at the time. I was like, it was ready, but I was like, no, you don't realise how much like editing time goes into it. And she was like, oh, I can't wait to read it. I was like, oh, well, I emailed Charlie. Maybe B will give you an arc.
Yeah, I think an arc I'd be comfortable with, nothing before that.
Yeah.
I emailed Charlie yesterday about booking in for book 2. That's how far in advance, like, which I'm hoping is May.
Oh, really? That's quick.
Yeah, I'm going to try and pull it in as much as like I'd like it to be without rushing myself and nearly killing myself like I did this time.
Yeah.
And not writing 19,000 words in 24 hours.
So when will you start writing book 2?
I'm probably beginning of April. I'm going to give myself a few more weeks. I'm going to start like week after next.
Yikes.
Yeah, because I already have chapter 1 of, no, it's only 1 chapter, but I've got chapter 1 of book 2 done.
Yeah.
Because that was, and it potentially still might be included in this version. You know, sometimes they include
an epilogue thing. Yeah. That's what,
so,
I don't know if it's the same in your Throne of Glass books, but the first chapter is in the end of each book.
Yes. So that's what I'd like to do. So yeah, I'd like, I mean, as close as I possibly, I'd like it to be as quick as I can.
Yeah.
I'd like to have the trilogy out in quite quick succession.
Same.
I'm hope this is like, I might need to edit this out. May, December.
Ooh.
So it's done by end of next year.
14 months and wrapped up.
And then I've got 2 novellas.
Oh, okay. Do you already have a story brewing that's like outside of this world, like a different fantasy story?
No, the only 2 I've got in my brain at the moment are the 2 novellas. So no, outside of this as of right now, no, because I just feel like my brain is just consumed by this. But obviously once the trilogy's done, and I'd still like to have the novellas out pretty quickly after, I'm going to need to fucking think of something.
Yep.
I think if I do something else, it will be like 100% fantasy, not like
romance.
No. As in, like, you know how this is kind of set in the modern world, but it isn't. But it kind of is. Like,
it'll be in ye olden times.
Well, yeah, in ye olden days. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when does this episode come out? The
Wednesday.
Which
3 days.
Okay, I know, but what's the date?
26th.
Okay, so my cover reveal still hasn't happened yet, but that's happening on...
Is there time to sign up for it, or is it closed?
Yeah. I mean, you can sign up until like the Friday before. You could sign up until the weekend before and I'll still send it to you, which is like, basically if you sign up for the 31st, you can be a part of it if you want to be part of the cover reveal and announce it on social media, and there's a chance to win 1 of 2 signed paperbacks when the book releases, if you want, if you're on Bookster or Instagram.
Hope I win.
I'm not actually going to enter you into the giveaway. Do you know that?
I want a signed copy.
You can have a signed copy, but like...
Other updates. Our author spotlight is open.
Oh, yeah.
If you know indie authors, or if you've read indie authors, or published authors that maybe are with a really small publishing house, please tag them in our video. There's a video on Instagram. There's a video on TikTok.
Them onto our Instagram and our TikTok in preparation for today, so we could just say go to the pins.
Oh, you were so good.
I
am. So we've had loads of entries
already. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
But if you know any fantasy romance indie authors that you think would be really good for the author spotlight, then please send them our way.
Yeah. Doesn't need to include smut. Can be YA. Doesn't necessarily have to have romance, but as long as the
fantasy is like our
criteria. Yeah. And yeah, we're going to be picking. We haven't really decided how many.
I reckon we just do a year's worth, so 24.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that's
or
probably a
6
good...
months, do 12,
Yeah,
and then reopen it.
Reopen it and do it again,
just so that we're getting like current content as well. Like we don't want to say to somebody, oh yeah, okay, we'll feature your book, but in 12 months.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be like, it's going to be out by then.
And that was the reason why we did it this way the last time.
Yeah, so maybe we'll just do 6 months intervals.
So 12, lovely. Okay. Anything else? Oh, God, I feel like there should be, but...
What are you currently reading?
Oh, so obviously just finished Assassin's Blade.
Yes.
I'm going to start Throne of Glass tonight. I'm still audiobooking that Gaither series.
Yes.
I'm on the 4th book. I don't know what it is. I think not to like hate on the narrator, but I think it's the narrator. But because I just couldn't get through it, I literally started on the way over here, Sunrise on the Reaping, which is the brand new book in the Hunger Games. It's a prequel.
Yeah.
And I'm like 1 chapter in and I'm like, Suzanne Collins is fucking class. This is fucking class.
I nearly bought it. So me and Steve went into town the other day. Our wedding rings were ready. So we went to pick up our wedding rings and I was like, oh, can we look in the works? And then like somehow it ended up that Steve was paying. So I was like, running through the works.
Did you get deep end in the works?
Yes.
I went to Bridgend today and it wasn't there. I went to look for it. And
I went in Swansea. The works, and they had, I know you wouldn't buy it because you don't read it, but they had the new Strawberry Pancake House, which is the cinnamon bun bookshop, but it was the spread.
They had that today. And
how pretty is the sprayed edge?
Did you see the vampire one, the new vampire release one? It's a really, really sexy vampire guy on the front.
Oh, I don't think
it was
so.
£3. I got that. I wanted to buy it the other day and then I didn't buy it because I was like, I don't know if it's spicy. And then I searched the author on Instagram and it is spicy and I got it today.
Yeah, so I got Deep End. I got Strawberry Pancake House, whatever it's called. And I got the paperback of Iron Flame just because I've got the paperback of Fourth Wing.
I thought you already had it. I've had mine for ages. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you offered to buy it to pick it up for me. And I was like, no, I don't fucking need it. And then when I saw it in the works, I was like, oh, Steve's paying.
You do need it.
But I nearly got the new Hunger Games book, but I haven't read any of Hunger Games.
Yeah, you can't read this one without reading the others.
But also, I was just like, I'm just being silly. Read the 4 Hunger Games. If you like them, then get this one.
Well, and also the box that you've got is the paperbacks, not the hard. So you just have like one hardback. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so I was like, nah, I haven't read them. I've seen the films, obviously, but yeah, I've never.
So you probably could read it if you've seen the films, I guess. But
I decided to be sensible with Steve's card.
Well done.
So that's what you're currently reading.
Yeah, I might pick up something else if I finish. I probably will next week. Because how long have I got to read Crown of Midnight? Another week, basically. Yeah, I might pick up something else. I started Onyx Storm when I was on holidays the other week. I got like 3 chapters in, but you know when you're like not in the headspace for it. And then last night I almost started Rebel and the Captive, but I fell asleep.
So good.
I know. I've got so much. I need to read Cammie's beta.
That's really good.
I need to read Rachel's.
That's really good.
I've got so much to catch up on. I've got another beta by my friend Meg that I need to read. I've just got so much.
I've read 26 books this year so far.
Oh, it's fucking bonkers. How much did you do in Feb?
I did 12 in Jan, and then maybe 8 in Feb, and then I've done 6 in March so far.
Crazy.
Don't know.
Crazy.
I just finished. How does it feel? What did you do? Where did you go?
Oh, the last one, yeah.
No, there's 4.
Oh, there's going to be another one. Oh.
Which is the Infatuated Fae series by Janine O'Reilly. And the MMC is like a shadow daddy.
Yeah.
And he meets her father for the first time. And her father is like an ascended god. Like he wasn't a god, but then he got ascended type of thing. And he meets him for the first time. And he says to her father, she calls me daddy now.
That's wild.
I was literally like, Janine O'Reilly, you cannot write that.
I one time joined one of her lives when she was writing, and she's the most like innocent looking, like we say this about Raven Kennedy all the time.
Oh my god,
she's, like,
she was so sweet and innocent, and I was like
quite like shy, and then like you read her writing, and she's dropping like C-bombs, and you're like, whoa.
You start her book on an orgy, and you're like, oh okay, that sets the tone.
Yeah, literally, I love it though. Yeah, I really want to read those. Those are definitely on my TBR. Yeah,
oh my god, this is so good. What am I currently reading? I'm currently reading Throne of Glass. I'm reading Prince of the Tower, which is our next author spotlight.
Are you the beginning of the month or the end of the month?
Well, now I'm the beginning of the month
I thought because you read the wrong one.
I cocked up everything basically. Yeah.
So what am I? Oh, Shot
in
in the Dark.
Yes.
But
I might try and I might read it anyway because I really I really wanted to read that. So I'm reading Prince of the Tower by Amy Clinton. I'm reading Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm reading Belladonna by Adeline Grace.
I just got the third one, so I've got the full trilogy.
I didn't even know there was more books out. Haha.
What do you mean? You thought it was only one?
Well, yeah, like I thought there was only one released. I didn't realise how long ago they came out.
Oh yeah, ages ago. They've been around for ages. And there's a novella coming out in December called Holly. It's like a Christmas novella within the series.
Oh,
yeah.
So I won't say too much, but it's like Bridgerton with fantasy.
Yeah, Luce's just read them. I don't think she's read all of them, but she read like the first two, I want to say.
Because she's just going to make a debut into society, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I won't give it away in case you get, like, I won't give anything away. Yeah. Obviously, spoilers, but the arc for Chris K. Haynes, The Rebel and the Captive.
I'm buzzing.
Like, excuse me, miss, when is the next book coming?
I know. Oh, and I've got Duskbound.
I need to do Duskbound.
I'm so excited for that.
I've got something else I needed to read as well.
Yeah, there was something else on your list.
I can't remember. But we just
got... Andrews? Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, yeah.
LJ Andrews.
But we just got a sent a book.
Oh, it sounds fucking wild.
So why choose? So basically, the publisher reached out to us and was like, oh, we think you love this. Like, can we send it to you? And I was like, yeah, okay. So they came, the postman threw it over my fence. I walked up the garden and there was this package. Simba was all over it like a rash. He was like sniffing it. I was like, what's this? Took it in and it was 2 hard back. Because I was like, I can't believe someone
yeeted it over your fence. Yeah,
I can't believe somebody's just thrown this over the fence. But yeah, so why choose? And it's 4-1.
The blurb. You read it to me. Where were we? Oh, were we on the phone or did you voice note it to me?
I voice noted you. That's not the blurb. That was just the invitation that came with the book. The blurb has got more again. Yeah.
Wild. What's it called?
The Novellas.
I'm so excited to read it. Thanks, Quercus Books.
I know.
Because we are fucking buzzing.
Well, I was saying Quercus Books in my review. It's not. It's when I was looking for the chat to see the other woman.
Arcadia.
It was Arcadia.
I think they're all the same company. Yeah.
But I was like, oops, I'm saying Quercus, and it was actually Arcadia. But and it's Jade Presley.
Yes.
Yeah. But for the next 8 episodes, we're doing obviously Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, but we've also teamed up with the Bookish Realms podcast, which is Cami and Brooke. Mm-hmm. And they're going to feature on every single episode, just really quick little snippets. They basically wrote us a quiz, 1 question per book, and there's a little leaderboard, so we won't give anything away.
Yeah, but the idea is like every week we're going to have a little quiz off with 1 question with them, and then it's basically me against Sam, and then when we get to the end of the series, which is Kingdom of Ash, we'll see who won.
Yes. So if you're not already following Bookish Realms, go check them out because they do intense deep dives.
Yeah, and they're so intelligent and they like actually critique literature in a like, you know, intellectual and mature and, you know, they're teachers. So yeah it's
rather than us being like, oh.
What did you send me earlier from Throne of Glass? Like smash Dorian in a red cape.
Yeah.
Hard smash.
Woo!
Yeah, but we love them. Like I'm absolutely
so much fun.
Obsessed with them. I listen to them every week. They do other stuff. They've done like Onyx Storm and they do dabble in other stuff, but their main focus is doing deep dives on the Throne of Glass series. And yeah, we're also going to feature on one of their like I think it's their quarterly reading wrap up that's coming out soon, where we talk about Metal Slinger.
Yes, any opportunity to talk about Metal Slinger, I will take it.
Honestly, I feel like at this point we should like officially register as the Church of Rachel Schneider.
She'd be like, "Oh, piss off, girls!"
Literally. She said we were her friends the other day.
Like, yeah, we know.
Well, she actually said it to me.
Oh,
and then said we, and then I told Sam, and Sam said, "I hope that we includes both of us." And I was like,
"The royal we."
Yeah, the royal we.
So the real reason we're here.
We're finally here.
I brought it with me.
I was going to, and then I left it in our friend's house. It fell out of my bag, so I don't have it. firstly, for anyone who like has maybe been listening for a bit longer, you know, like we have read this series previously, both of us.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it a lot, like in the season 1, that we wanted to do episodes on Throne of Glass, but that we wanted to do it justice.
Oh yeah.
And that we didn't feel that we could do it justice without a full reread.
Yes.
And that is what we've committed to.
Oh yeah. And even though our episodes are spoilers, we promise you that if you're reading along with us, we will only be spoiling that book.
Yeah. So like, nothing from further on in the series. I've actually, in my notes, I've got like an Assassin's Blade notes, and then I've got a to come back to notes for like the foreshadowing and stuff that I can reference back to.
Yes.
Because I don't want to spoil anything.
No. So although like this isn't going to be our initial like first reactions, we will be keeping our mouths zipped about any further books ahead.
Yeah.
Also, want to just put it out there, for anybody that thinks Assassin's Blade shouldn't be read first, you're wrong. We are firm believers in, I think it's called the romantic read. I think that's what this order's called. Because when I started reading Throne of Glass, it was literally like way before you were reading any of these. I didn't know anybody that was reading these books. I was on TikTok, but not Book Talk. Like, so when I got the box set, I just read it out as it came in the box. And then it was only later on did I realize that actually the way it's published is different. Look, you can read it whatever way you want, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not reading Assassin's Blade first, you're just reading it wrong.
And if you're skipping Tower of Dawn.
Well, we'll fucking get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to say, like, we will not be skipping Tower of Dawn.
No.
And just to piss everybody off, we'll probably do an extra long episode on Tower of Dawn. Because it's one of our favourites.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to preface before we continue?
I think so.
Okay.
So, Assassin's Blade
is a collection of how many short stories? 4?
5.
Yeah.
So we have The Assassin and the Pirate, The Assassin and the Healer, The Assassin and the Desert, The Assassin and the Underworld, The Assassin and the Empire. Really interesting. I wrote down how many chapters were in each.
Okay.
So The Assassin and the Pirate Lord is 10 chapters. The Assassin and the Healer is 6 chapters. The Assassin and the Desert is 12 chapters. The Assassin and the Underworld is 12 chapters. And The Assassin and the Empire is 14 chapters.
Whoa.
So The Assassin and the Healer is considerably smaller than the others, but I think it's my favourite story out of the 5.
Yeah, me too. I think the same for me.
And obviously having read the whole series to look back on
it
Assassin's
plays a lot
Blade.
of significance further on. Yeah, definitely. What I will say is I'd forgotten how fucking steaming hot Rolf is.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Do you know now, looking back, like me putting on him on my Hear Me Out cake, like
why? Because he's not a Hear Me Out. He's smoking.
I just think I remembered him as like older and like greasier.
Oh no, he's hot.
But this book starts with one of my favorite quotes of all time. And I put it in the Discord for our read along. So if you're reading along with us, you've seen it. But Sam saying to Celaena, perhaps if you hadn't been reading all night, you wouldn't be so exhausted.
I feel that
and I'm like,
in my bones.
Because I will stay up past midnight reading and then get up for work and be like
crying,
popping my eyes open with matchsticks.
Yeah. I feel like Celaena, despite like her young age, because she's what, like 16, 17-ish in this, is really relatable.
She is. She's a bit of a bitch in this book. Yeah, and me. She's 16 and she turns 17 when she's traveling to the desert. She turns 17 on her own. But yeah, she is a bit of a bitch. And I've got quite a few examples of when she's been a bitch. But it's funny that first chapter, she fucking hates Sam. Their relationship arc through this book.
It's shocking how, not shocking, like, because again, I read this first and I remember when I finished it being absolutely fucking gutted.
Oh my God.
It's insane that like this was my first introduction to these characters and how you can get from the beginning of it where like they're not together and they hate each other. So they wouldn't say enemies to lovers, they're definitely rivals.
Oh my God, yeah.
To them eventually falling for each other and being so deep in love that you feel it in your bones. To then like, we're a spoiler, so you know what was going to come, but like to then subsequently Sam being killed and how honestly this isn't this isn't a spoiler for the rest of the series. I think for me, of all of this series, Sam's death is one of the most gut-wrenching things that happen. If not for me, probably the thing that I cried the most at.
Yeah.
Nearly, yeah, I'd say it's probably the thing I cried the most at.
And I just think her grief is so genuine. Like when she goes to see his body and she climbs onto the table, she lays her cloak over him and then climbs onto the table with him. And I'm just like, that is so like gut-wrenching grief. And yeah, reading that hurt.
It hurts bad. And you know, one of the things, sorry, this is jumping way ahead, but like we don't go linear.
Yeah.
I think it's in the Assassin in the Empire. I think it's in the last like story. Is that like Sarah jumps around, so she gives you the chapter where Celaena's in the cart to Endovia, and then so it like jumps way ahead of the story because you haven't even got to the bit where Sam's been hurt yet or disappeared, and then it jumps back to like that series where Sam goes and ends up getting killed, and then you get like what would have been the subsequent chapter at the end then when she goes into Endovia. And I'd forgotten that she did that because when I was reading I was like, there's loads left and like I know what's coming, so like most of the big drama at the end hasn't happened, but she's already in the wagon on the way to Endovia, and I was like, oh shit, she does like a... And I was like, fuck, reading that for the first time, I must have been so like, oh my fuck, what's gonna happen?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. I've got another quote here that literally from the first chapter, and I just thought it was not ironic, but like interesting. So she says to them, the rest of the assassins, just so you know, I'm going to retrieve Ben's body, but don't expect me to extend the same courtesy to the rest of you when your time comes. And I just think like how interesting that that's what she says to Sam, and then she's literally laying with his body. Like
she doesn't retrieve it.
No, yeah, I know.
She would have.
Yeah. Well, she's looking for him, and she wants his body, and then Arobynn says it's been dumped at the keep.
And I'd forgotten all about like, not that Ben is really a character because obviously he's dead at the beginning of the book, but like I'd forgotten all about that. And she references Ben a lot, and like not in a... I don't mean this in like I think there was anything romantic, but then again, like look at Arobynn, but she's really keen on Ben.
Yeah.
She really like, every time she references Ben, he's the better half of Arobynn.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'd forgotten about that. Like I really had.
Yeah, he sort of like mentored her and like looked out for her. I think nobody else cared about her.
And sounded considerably less
problematic.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of a word, like considerably less like brutal than Arobynn was, or is, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, Arobynn...
I know, but like, I'm so down hard for him.
No, because he wants to be her father and then he wants to be her daddy. Like, and he sends her to Endovia. That end chapter when he's on the roof with Farouk, is it? How do you say this?
I don't know how you say it.
That end chapter when he's on the roof with the...
Oh, you do find out then that it does say that. I didn't know if it explicitly said that he's the one that sends her.
Well, he says, the king of the underworld says to him, why did you do it? And he says, because I don't like people touching what belongs to me.
Which is Sam touching Celaena.
Well, yeah, which is Celaena, yeah. He didn't want her to leave, did he, basically? He didn't want her to leave the guild.
Sick as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, again, this isn't not a spoiler for the rest of the season, but there's some Arobynn quotes that come up that, like...
Yeah.
I'm some of my favourite quotes in this series. I know that me loving him is really problematic, but, like...
And also, in the second chapter of this whole book, we get our first mention of Endovia and the slave trade. Literally in chapter 2, we learn about the slave trade really early on in Calcula and Endovia.
Yeah, that's
I mentioned really early.
Rolf is getting Arobynn is these slaves. Yep.
And I just think it's really like poignant that she releases all those slaves.
Oh yeah.
To then end up a slave herself.
Well, and I think as well, I'd forgotten how not obvious, maybe that's not the word, but how like prominent Celaena's moral compass is from like the get-go.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, I remember the story. I remember that her whole thing is she finds out the slaves and has a massive issue with it. But, like, from literally page 2, like, who she is so authentic. And that runs true again, but that runs true all the way through the series. But I had forgotten how, considering that Sarah wrote this actually after, 3 or 4, 5 books in, it's so, I think, again, it's just proof of how much of an excellent writer that she is. That she can write something that you still feel like it was written chronologically, and how she's able to get into that mindset of Celaena when she's like 16 and before really the real beginning, which is Throne of Glass, which starts in Endovia. It's such a, just, I think, a credit to her as a writer.
Like a testament to her writing.
A testament to her as a writer. That she's able to do that because,
Yeah. Well, literally in chapter 1, we get Celaena sitting in Rolf's chair at his desk with her feet up, just like no fucks given. Like, she's almost like quite cocky. Like, she's
so cocky.
She's confident in her abilities as an assassin, but she's really cocky about it too.
Did you know that this book is only 56,000 words long?
Wow.
That is wild.
And like the punch it packs for such a short book.
So if you're reading the series along with us, you'll just know from seeing the series that these books just get beefier and beefier. But by no means, if you're like starting this journey with us and you're looking at Kingdom of Ash and you're like, oh fuck, that's a big boy. It is. It's like it's the biggest book I've ever read to this day. It will always be the biggest book I've ever read. But nothing in any of this series feels like fluff.
No.
Nothing feels like filler.
Oh my God, no. She's such an intentional writer.
It's just so like bang, 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 plot, plot, plot. What I will say is, for me, Assassin's Blade speaks as... When I say it isn't my favourite in the series in terms of like what happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I was talking about technicality when it comes to a fantasy book, what Sarah does in Assassin's Blade, I think out of all of her books, is the best. Why are my words so bad today? I can't, like, not the best. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, what she's able to achieve in that book is fucking insane. In 56,000 words, that's wild.
Wild.
Like, that's a masterclass of writing, Assassin's Blade. To achieve that in 5 short stories and, like, emotional arcs and a death that honestly is, for me, up there with the saddest things that happen in this entire series.
Yeah.
People still talk about it now.
Like, oh my God, yeah. Some of the character art and like of that scene where she sees his body, oh my God.
All you need to say is Sam Cortland to anyone that's read Throne of Glass and they'll probably just start weeping.
Like, I need a minute.
And it's just
justified.
Like, again, no spoiler, but what you get of Sam is what we get in Assassin's Blade. There's no more of Sam in the rest
dead.
So like what we've had, and if you just finished Assassin's Blade, like that's it. So when people are constantly talking about Sam Cortland, there's no
from one book.
It's just this,
and
that's what Sarah's like. The character that Sam is like a minuscule amount compared to some of the other characters in the rest of this series, and he's still revered, still held in the same like status as some of the characters that are literally in every single book.
Yeah. And like you said, they start as really rivals and they really, well, we find out that he's always loved her.
Oh, God.
When he says, I've been in love with you for years, I'm like, oh.
When she says, what was the price that you paid? What was
for
it?
Him to
and
never lay
never lay a finger on you.
Sam Cortland.
I know, it's insane. It's wild.
But I have a quote here, which is from chapter 8. So they're still in Skulls Bay. So like we're still really early and we're still assuming that they don't like each other.
Yeah.
Celaena found herself leaning into Sam's shoulder, laughing as Rolf finished his crude and absurd story of the farmers' wives and her stallions. She banged her fist on the table, howling, and that wasn't entirely an act either. As Sam slipped a hand around her waist, his touch was somehow sending a bright hot flame through her. She had to wonder if he was still pretending to.
Oh, God, Sam Cortland, the man that
like,
you are.
When I read that, I was like, ooh, okay. Maybe they don't hate each other.
One of the other things that we get in this book is a character called Lysandra.
Fuck you, Lysandra.
Yeah, I obviously remember her being in this book. Of course I do. But I knew that, like, I was not keen. But I forgot just how insufferable she is.
Oh my God, she was grating on me.
Yeah.
I was literally like, fuck off.
Her being all like touchy-feely with Sam, I was like,
girl, get back in your lane.
But isn't it wild we find out in this book that Arobynn is the one that, like, I know, he's sick as fuck.
He wins her bid with Celaena's money.
He's known Lysandra since she was like a child, first sold as like a courtesan to train and become a courtesan, has just been waiting for the day that she is like barely of legal age, and has been like, again, basically like a father figure to her the whole time. And then when the bidding opens, because like Celaena suggests like to Sam, like, are you gonna bid? And he's like, first of all, don't have fucking money, second of all, I wouldn't want to anyway. But then doesn't Lysandra boast about it that Arobynn is the one that
yeah, didn't you know I went the highest bid ever made, like, or the highest price ever paid, and then bidding for her virginity.
It's yucky as fuck.
And Arabynn's like 20 years older than Celaena.
Oh yeah.
So
he's like in his 30s, mid-30s easily.
So he's like 20 years older than Lysandra.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yuck.
It's a big yuck. I agree. Yeah, maybe I take back my comments on Arobynn Hamel. But like,
he's a bastard though, isn't he? He's a fucking bastard.
He is, but like some of the fan art of him, not fan art, some of the art of him, like, I'm down so hard.
Yeah.
The art on, we've both got it, but the Throne of Glass card game, that depiction of Arobynn Hamel, I think, is it Charlie Bouter that did those? I think it's Charlie Bouter, and he's a redhead.
Yeah, I know, we love a redhead, but him buying her gifts, like, as his way to say sorry, I'm like icky about it as well.
I was kind of jealous.
Buy me gift.
I want a big emerald brooch.
Bloody and buy me gifts.
Maybe that should be my new like tagline. No, I know it's problematic. Yeah. He's sick as fuck. I agree, but she said no, it's not okay. She has a life of luxury.
Oh my God, she's got a life of luxury, and she's used to it.
I love that about her.
She even says that she's spoiled to Ansel.
She says, I think it's when she gets back from the Red Desert and she like bumps into Sam and Lysandra in the car, does a bit of a thing with them, and then she goes to her room and she's like, oh, I'm so fucking glad to touch my clothes and all the fine silks, and because obviously she's been slumming it in the Red Desert.
Yeah, she has got used to a life of luxury. She goes to the theatre. She goes to get her nails done, her hair. Yeah. That was the first thing she does when she gets back from the desert.
Go get her nails done.
Gets her nails done, gets her hair done, and goes to the modiste to have like new dresses made.
Love it.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
I kind of love that she's a bit of a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
I'm Brooke. I'm Cammie, and we do Throne of Glass deep dives over at Bookish Realms Pod.
Yeah, I'm really nervous. I haven't read these books. I haven't read these books for 2 years. So I've just started my reread.
We were one time when you guys posted one on Instagram, one of your questions. We were recording and we'd like taken a break, and I was showing Sam, and her face was like, you would think that I've never read these books. I was like,
I don't know any of those names. Who, like, what? Who?
Yeah,
we go a little crazy. Yeah, we go a little crazy.
We're a little psycho, but I will say that like these questions are like a good mix. So like some of them I feel like you'd be like, okay, I feel confident, and then this morning one of the questions, Cammie was like, wait, I don't even remember that. So
we are so ready for you guys to take it away. Although we're going to be, are we going to keep a leaderboard? Should we keep a leaderboard, Sam? Because we're really competitive. AKA Sam is really competitive.
Yeah, I'll do it on my phone now.
We are going to start with the Assassin's Blade. So this question is, what is the name of the inn/bar that Yrene works at in Inish?
Oh, fuck. I was going to say Inish is obviously not the fucking name of the bar, is it? The Inish Inn, the Inish Tab. Okay, go on, you say first and then I'll say, go on, you say first.
Is it the White Pig?
Ding, ding, ding! Ah! You are correct.
The Inish Inn. Okay.
Honestly, good guess. The Inish Inn is a good guess.
Yeah.
I didn't even. You think that I've literally just reread it? Like we're rereading them for this read through, obviously. Like so, I don't even have the excuse of like, oh, it's been a year. Like no, I've literally just read this and still nothing.
And also, sorry to go back to Arobynn being a prick. Set up that job for her where she thinks she's intercepting and stopping a slave trade, and she just like helps towards the cause, helps towards Leifa.
Yeah, Leifa, yeah.
Being able to build that road and enable slave trade. So she thinks that she's abolishing the slave trade.
She's not, I know.
And
she's just
doing
giving
the
information.
opposite. And when she says to him, like, why have you done that? He was like, well, you did cost me a lot of money.
Question about, because obviously when she goes to Skulls Bay with Rolf, she thinks she's going because Rolf killed one of Arobynn's spies.
Yes.
And actually when Rolf opens the envelope is because they're going to buy slaves. Does it actually say what Arobynn's intention was? And why did he send Celaena? I'm guessing was it as a test of like loyalty?
I think his intention was to sell them in Ardalan to like wealthy individuals.
I was just curious, like, why didn't he tell Celaena the truth?
Oh, sorry.
You know what I mean? And then
I think he knew she wouldn't go.
Yeah. So he lied to her, and then when Rolf got the real reason.
Yeah, I think he knew she wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Also, how fucking sneaky is she? That first fucking chapter taking Rolf's ring. And we don't realise it then until the end.
Yeah.
When she blackmails him and she says, well, I've already taken your ring, so I could just seal it myself and say that you wrote it.
Yeah.
She's so calculated.
Yeah, she is.
Fucking love
100%. Again, jumping about, but like just one of my so I will say my least favourite story in all of this is Ansel's. And it isn't because it's just I felt like it was longer than it needed to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like Ilias, who's the Mute Master's son, like it was fine, and I get like, you know, it's a bit of like maybe she does want to kiss and then she doesn't because really she's down hard for Sam,
but she's never been kissed.
Not, and she obviously doesn't want she really wants the first person to be Sam, which is cute. But there's a line in that when they're riding on the, how is it said, the Asterian horses, where it says something like, and here she was on a spit of desert riding on an Asterian horse. And it's just like, I don't know what it is about that quote. It just like, I don't know. It just like makes me feel, there's actually like going off a tangent. I don't know their names, but there's like a bookish PR company that flew models to Egypt to film that scene. So they got a model that looked like Celaena and a model that looks like Ansel, and they got them to ride on the desert. I see if I can find you the clip.
Wow.
So they like reenacted that scene and they play that quote over the top, and it makes me feel like so many feels.
That story, that short story, just gives me all the Bridge Kingdom vibes.
Yeah,
the first chapters of Bridge Kingdom.
I will say, as much as I felt like that chapter dragged, the fucking ending of that when she and like, again, trying not to spoil, I'm not going to spoil the rest of the season, but just when you realise the effect that Celaena purposefully delaying that arrow makes.
Oh my god, when it says like she told her she'd fire after 20 and she fired after 21, and
when you see the butterfly effect that has on like her life and the repercussions just from one arrow, and allowing somebody to live instead of killing them. Again, like, Sarah is a fucking master writer. It's wild, like.
Yeah, and also that short story, I'm just gonna say, this is interesting because I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
We get the mercenary with the spider silk. Oh, the merchant with the spider silk, sorry. Very interesting.
She gets that sewn into her, like, sexy spy suit.
Well, we think she does.
Oh, but she puts it in Sam's. Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about. But, right, sorry, this is really
because
grim.
Obviously Sam gets hit in the chest and he says, like, that should have been a killing blow. That should have gone straight through to my heart.
I know, but it didn't. But hear me out, right? Do you want to hear something really grim? There was, like, a fan theory online about this. Is that even though, it saved Sam that one time, you know, when they were killing Sam and torturing him, it probably just prolonged the death because they were trying to stab and it wasn't penetrating his heart. Whereas maybe if he didn't have that, if they'd have hit his heart once, he would have been dead. So did actually Celaena's like, sorry. I know I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to do that to you.
I've written here about the assassin and the healer.
Yeah.
Chapter 1 gives us both the ruby brooch Arobynn gifted her for his 16th birthday and the fact that Arobynn beat the shit out of her. Daddy figure of the year.
Literally. Again,
He's so hot and cold with her.
very hot and cold. But what I will say again is that, not trying to spoil, but like as soon as I read about Irene as a character, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
Her just like personality. I have a real soft spot for like somebody that's like not down and out, but like just having a really shit time in life, doing something that they don't love, but they fucking hate it and they just want to get out. Like, I don't know, there's something about that like arc that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And as soon as I read, like, I agree with you, it's my favourite short story in all of this. As soon as I read about Irene, I was like, I just hope there's more of Irene because, yeah.
And like, Celaena teaching her self-defense, and Selena's such a bitch. Like, she's really like aggressive with her teaching methods. Yeah. And I've got a quote here. I should teach all this to Jessa. Celaena didn't know or care who Jessa was, but she said, if you get the chance, teach it to any female who will take the time to listen. Like, Selena's a girl's girl.
Oh, yeah. Like, she's a bitch.
She's a cocky, arrogant bitch, but she's a girl's girl.
This is again why I think Sarah J. Maas is such a fucking master writer, is that, like, Celaena is such a Marmite character.
Yeah.
But, like, you can read 8 books of Celaena as the main protagonist.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's just fascinating. That's what I love about Sarah J. Maas characters. They're not super likable.
No.
They're not.
Like, people usually aren't. Like,
no,
not like
exactly,
that, not that people aren't likable, but like everybody has their qualities.
Well, particularly when you're going to be the type of person that's like, again, this isn't a big spoiler, but it's going to save the world.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to just like rub people up the wrong way eventually.
Yeah.
But
like, we all have qualities that we're like, oh god, yeah. Like, and my last little thing on the assassin and the healer, the note that she leaves for Irene: for wherever you need to go and then some, the world needs more healers. Again, the butterfly effect, the effect that you can have on somebody's life.
I can't open my mouth now because I'm just going to spoil too much.
Yeah, this is the problem, because we want to talk about things that happen in the future, but we can't, so we won't. I
love ACOTAR. I do. Yeah. ACOTAR is my favorite, but I also think like I'm just so, this is going to make me cry. I just think I'm so lucky to have read books like this. I'm so lucky. I don't know. I just think it's so wonderful that somebody has written a series like this, because I'll never read anything like it again.
I think for you, it like holds like an emotional value because you just had your daughter and your husband bought this for you while you were on mat leave. And you know, not that this got you through your mat leave, like you enjoyed your time off.
No, but I was really struggling mentally, 100%, because I think there's a lot of focus on postpartum depression, but I didn't feel depressed at all when I had my daughter. But I don't think like postpartum anxiety is talked about much. And I honestly, like, if it weren't for reading, like, I dread to think where I'd be. And a series, this was one of the very first that I read. I've never read an epic fantasy series like this before. It just hits me deep down in my core.
A Court of Mist and Fury is my favourite book.
Yes.
But I think this is my favourite series.
Oh, that's so big. Do you know what? I say for now ACOTAR is, but I wouldn't make that a permanent statement till I've got a completed, because this is completed. That's the thing for me. So like, as of right now, it's ACOTAR, but let's finish ACOTAR and then I can hold them up.
Yeah, do you know what I think it is? I think this is like epic fantasy.
It is.
And like, ACOTAR is romantasy.
It's much more, this is heavier on the fantasy. ACOTAR's heavier on the romance.
Yeah. We'll see, but for now, I think...
And I always think if I'd read Throne of Glass when I was like 15...
Oh my god. I've got a quote here from The Assassin in the Desert. So, Celaena's sort of like reflecting on everything that's happened and how she got there, and she's trying to recollect what Sam was shouting Because she knows that Sam was in the room when she was being beaten and that he was shouting, but she can't really remember what. And she talks about thinking that maybe Arobynn was going to make her watch them beat Sam. And she says she thought back full of relief that she hadn't seen him hurt Sam. And even at that point, she sort of makes out that they're still rivals.
Yeah.
Like, there's been no chemistry between
Not
them.
really,
We
yeah.
only get them in The Assassin and the Pirate Lord. So we only see them at Skulls Bay and that's it.
That just reminded me, sorry, there was a bit in Assassin and the Pirate where, right when they go up to the room after they've met Rolf, she says to Sam, they wake up and she's going for a bath and she says to Sam, like, on breakfast waiting on my bed right now. And he's like, you can't fucking speak to me like that. And she's like, I don't care. Slams the door, comes out, breakfast is waiting.
The way she speaks to him and like the entitlement, and I do get it, she's in a really hot place, she's wearing a mask so she can't eat or drink when she's in front of people, like she's fucking starving, she's fucking parched. But the way she speaks to him, I'm like, Celaena.
But also, like, he's so down hard.
Oh my
for
god,
her.
yeah. I think like reflecting back once you find out that he's been in love with her for years, when you reflect back, like I'm like, oh yeah, the signs were there, like how did I miss that?
And I think he kind of likes that she's a meanie.
Yeah.
I think he enjoys the cockiness. Like, he must do, because he's been in love with her for so long.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I've got written here, for The Assassin and the Underworld, Sam finally admitting he loved her for years. And then I put her first kiss with loads of crying faces.
That first kiss broke me.
Serious?
I know, but the way, who does she say? Like, didn't she say, kiss me, you idiot, or something, didn't she?
No, so he basically says that he's leaving and she's like, why? And he's like, because given the choice, you're always going to pick Arobynn. And she says, you're a stupid idiot, you're a fool. And he's like, what? And he's like, why? And she's like, because I'd pick you. And then just slams her lips to his mouth.
Oh, I'm so obsessed.
And his hands are in her hair and she doesn't know where to put her hands and like she doesn't know. And she says like they come out of the sewers like hours later, like with swollen lips because like they were just down there kissing for ages.
Oh, I love them. And then she gets a little apartment.
Well, she has the apartment at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, she does,
she's always had it, but obviously she's still living in the keep. But obviously she nearly died in those sewers. She was nearly goners. I did think like, oh shit.
What does she say at the grate when she says to Sam, take my
body? Yeah. Page 300. Obviously Sam's like beating on the grate. He wedged a knife in and it snaps. And then, please, Sam moaned, his fingers now touching hers. She'd have one last breath, her last words. Take my body home to Terrasan, Sam, she whispered, and with a gasping breath, she went under.
This is all these 8 episodes are going to be. It's us just fucking flabbergasted at how incredible the series is. Again, we can't divulge on that, but like what that means.
Yeah. I've also written here, Sam's death is legit one of the worst.
It is.
It's horrible. The fact that like she's watching the clock, she's expecting him to come home. She thinks he's lying low somewhere.
That made me feel sick. That
when
whole
she's
like
out,
waiting.
Yeah, and then she goes out looking for him. She's up and down all the streets to all the vantage points that she knew he had mapped out, and then obviously coming home to Arobynn, being sat on her sofa, and she fucking launches that clock across the room, and she thinks, I fucking watched you all night.
Yeah, and when she hugs his body and she says it smells of cheap soap.
Because she wouldn't let him use her lavender one. And she says like that I selfishly wouldn't let him use or something like that. And I'm like, oh, Steve, you can have any of my cosmetic products that you want.
No, I'm still fuming Corey using my fucking Redken like £55 shampoo and I'm like, you're losing it. You don't fucking need it. Like, stop using my Redken. Like, you're not going to have any of it left.
I've written here a like a little poignant question for you.
Oh, okay.
From like, it's from when she's in the cart being taken to Endovia. Mm-hmm. What do you think seeing the white stag meant? Yeah, they stop the cart because the white stag of the north is there, and she says that when Ardalan's king came into Terrasan, he killed all the white stags because they were like the symbol of the north, and she's like, why the fuck is it in these mountains like so far from home? And we'll talk about that. I'll come back to that question later because I just like, what was it doing there so far from home?
when I say this is difficult, I don't mean like I'm thoroughly enjoying it, right? Because these are some of my favorite books, but it is so hard to talk about this series because, like you said, the world building, the story weaving is fucking wild. Like, Sarah really put her whole fucking pussy into this series. And you know when people are moaning, like, where's our next ACOTAR book? I'm like, honestly,
She gave you Throne of Glass. Piss off.
Throne of Glass is like a once in a lifetime, a once in a career type of series. A lot of authors write a series like that and they're fucking done. Because, like, how do you even, you know? Like,
I got goosebumps.
Literally. And she's written, okay, well, we're going about Crescent City. And I'm not saying maybe...
Crescent City 2.
Well, it's good, but it isn't a Throne of Glass.
No, but Crescent City 2.
Oh, yeah, it's a good book. It's class. But, like, ACOTAR is her best-selling series.
Yeah.
And I know, like, some people prefer Throne of Glass because of there's a lot of reasons why. But, like, she's got two, like, life-changing, career-changing, once-in-a-lifetime career series. So, like, there's kind of some fucking...
Yeah.
You know? Like, she could have just written Throne of Glass and gone, do you know what?
Yeah. I've got more stories, but I am got it in me.
I haven't got it in me because she literally put her whole soul into Throne of Glass. Every single sentence, it's like there's nothing that is said that is unintentional.
Yeah.
So, like, again, if you've just read Assassin's Blade and you're continuing on this journey with us, just know that, like, if Sarah says something's green, it's fucking green for a reason. If Sarah says, like, it was cold outside, it was cold outside for a fucking reason.
He's the most intentional writer I've ever come across.
Yeah.
Everything has meaning. Nothing is in her books, and then you never get anything. Like, something's put in, and then you just, like, forget about it. It never comes back around.
Well, and again, considering, like, this was written after the first 2, 3, 4 books, sometimes if you're writing a prequel like that, like, this isn't like being judgy, but sometimes they can come across a bit too, like, not candid, like, what's the word? A bit too, like, brash, like a bit too tongue-in-cheek, because they're almost a bit too, like,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, but, like, this is not like that. Not at all.
You can read this book and have no fucking idea what's coming.
You could, none of the things that are, like, heavily hinted, because obviously when I first read this, straight over my head.
I was just like, la la
Literally.
la la la
Flick,
la
flick, flick.
la la la, literally not absorbing any of these little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
It's only now that I've read it for the second time. Like, a lot of my notes are these little Easter eggs for the series, and, like, obviously you wouldn't pick up on them, but even, like, then when they come up in the series, I didn't think back and think, oh, I saw that in Assassin's Blade. I was just like, la la la, like, carrying on with my little journey.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's wild. Oh.
I got the question right.
Whose question?
The name of the tavern that Irene worked in.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was only because I'd just read it.
I just read it, yeah. I was ahead and I
that's
didn't remember.
why I'm so shit for the like, spoiler, but that's why I'm so shit for the rest of the quiz.
Yeah, because you don't know, I know. Yeah, I, like, just to say, guys, with these questions, don't get your fucking hopes up, because Bookish Realms are like, I can't even reach high enough to show where they are on the intellectual level, and we are literally down on
Can't
the
reach
ground.
low enough.
Yeah, literally can't get low enough, can't get high enough. Like, we
Either
are
end of the
fucking
spectrum.
idiots. And, like, not to spoil, I can't remember what book it is when we did it. There's one, I think it's Tower of Dawn, where, like, God bless Cammy and Brooke, they are literally like
spoon feeding us the answer.
It's like they're getting a toddler to say their first word.
Come on,
you can do
got
it. Come on.
Yeah,
A word beginning with L. Come on, like, we're fucking idiots.
But then when I got it, I was so fucking happy. I felt so encouraged.
And they even said, like, because so they do these questions, not these exact ones, but they do them at the end of when they finish a book, and they put them on Instagram. So they do, like, a little play on. They do quite a few of them, and we've tried to do them before, and we're like, can't fucking do it.
You read one to me, and I was like, who's that character?
And I was like, I've never heard of that person before in my life.
Wrong series.
But, like, they even said, oh, the ones we've done for you are, like, easy, and we were like, cool.
And there's still some that we didn't even give an answer to.
Oh yeah, yeah, literally so many. Like,
there's only 5 points on the leaderboard, and there's 8 books. So
there's 3 we didn't even answer.
Then we were just like, you know.
Oh, we're such a fucking idiots. We loved having them though. They're still great. Like, but We're a fucking pair of morons.
They must have come away from that thinking, what is wrong with those two girls? Some of the
Literally.
answers we give.
Literally. Yeah.
What did you say for this one? The Inish Tavern.
The Inish Inn.
The Inish Inn.
Because they said in the question, what's the name of the tavern in Inish? And I was like, the Inish Inn?
It's the White Pig, guys.
Oh, I wouldn't have had a fucking foggy. And I just read it as well, but like that had not retained in my brain.
I do retain a lot of information. I think if we'd have done the quiz after I'd read the whole series, I'd have done better.
Yeah.
I think, personally.
Okay. Well,
so next week.
Throne of Glass.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We get really into the meat of the story.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
like, because obviously this is a prequel.
Yeah, it's
so...
not really like, I'm not saying that it's not a story because it is, but like the individual short stories, it's not like from beginning to end. Yeah, no, agreed. Obviously Throne of Glass is a much more of a wrap up in one book, not a spoiler, but yeah.
Yeah. Exciting.
Just to mention, we've had 2 new Patreon members since we've been on our little break. And I just want to say thank you to Kate and to Susan for supporting us on our Inner Circle tier on Patreon. We appreciate you so much, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Every single penny that we get from video views, Patreon, any of that goes straight back into the podcast, whether it's equipment, backdrops, being able to do giveaways and things like that. Every single penny goes straight back in.
It does.
None of it goes in our pockets. We promise you that.
I can promise you.
Any parting words? Oh, do you know what we haven't talked about? Oh, my name is Sam Cortland and I am not afraid.
There's not really much else we can say about that, to be honest.
Just that.
Just need to point that out. Yeah.
Include that. Right.
I think that's everything.
See you next week for Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
Exciting. Thanks so much for listening.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at a pod of Smut and Wingspan.
See you next week.
Bye. What?